Folks, you're going to have to help us tonight. We don't exactly know how to do this show under the guise of a winning streak. It's just a new feeling. It's a good one. So jump in, enjoy it, enjoy the ride, bring what you got, bring your take, your celebration. 2 straight for the Noles, 2 straight in the conference. All right, Florida State Seminoles live for the next hour with, of course, Jason Parker from NBC6. Logan Robinson making it happen there at Nole Game Day. Before I say anything else, lock it in at Nole Game Day. Check out what they've got available there, of course. Guys, how we doing?
I think we should apologize to the viewers real quick. Viewers, obviously, you come to us for every week for the most updated views, analysis of Florida State football. You're going to have to bear with us for a moment because it's been nearly 2 calendar years since we've covered a 2-game winning streak for Florida State. So, Logan, what do we do here?
What we do is look at all the North Carolina fans that were in our comments for all off season. We say hey to them. We say good evening. We see Luke Walker's in here. There's going to be a few that will sprinkle in. Some won't even make it, but it's good to see y'all. Coach Brown still probably in his career won't beat Florida State. This was going to be, I think, his last chance to do so. Sam Howell also never beat Florida State in his career. As a Tar Heel, decommitted from Florida State just to lose to Florida State. Not even ranked now. They were looking forward to having a good season this upcoming year. Nothing. They were supposed to have a good season last year. Lost to Florida State. That ruined their season. So good to see you, Tar Heel fans. The sunset looked beautiful. We loved the beauty. It was beautiful. It was really quiet, though. The fans just didn't even seem like there was a football game going on. But good to see you, Tar Heel fans. But, yeah, good evening. 2-win streak. 2-win streak. A lot of energy in Tallahassee right now.
But don't worry, North Carolina. You can still beat Miami this week.
Yeah. Now that's going to be the fun one to watch. That's going to be the fun one.
Don't worry. You can at least beat one team from the state of Florida this season.
Yeah.
We're getting really mouthy for a team that's 2-4. I'm just giving you a heads up there on that one. Getting real mouthy.
2-4. You can emphasize that, or you can emphasize 2-game winning streak.
The longest winning streak of any FBS team in the state of Florida right now. Not Florida, not UCF. They're on a losing streak. Miami's gone downhill. We'll make fun of them later on in the show. Even FAU's on a losing streak. USF, I think the last time they won, I was actually married. I mean, we right now, I'm going to come out and say it, Logan. We're the best FBS team in Florida right now. That's bold. It's bold, I know.
Mark's staying quiet. He's just listening in. Listening.
I am. I was impressed with the effort on Saturday. Going down 10-0 right out of the gate, I thought, there it is. That's what we expected to happen, and Vegas expected it to happen. A 17-point underdog.
Yeah.
And, man, they went to that running game. Jordan Travis running that offense, efficient passing at 11 of 13. Running the ball for $121. You got your quarterback.
The biggest compliment I can say from what happened last Saturday, and Mark just touched on it right there. This is the first time this season that Florida State did not give up. This is the first time that Florida State's backs were against the wall, and they did not give up. You jump, like Mark said, you jump down 10-0. How do you respond? 3 touchdowns. You go on to the halftime of the big lead. What scared me, and I think, Logan, you'll agree with me on this one, what scared me was North Carolina scoring the touchdown to start the third quarter, cutting the lead to 21-17. Because at that point, you thought, okay, is this going to be it? Is this going to be when North Carolina turns the corner? And then Florida State's defense buckles down. The offense gets 2 touchdowns, comfortable lead, in control, and comes out of there with a huge win. This is the first time this season, because you did see it against Syracuse. Remember, we had a double-digit lead against Syracuse. Syracuse came back and tied it up. Had a lead against Notre Dame. Notre Dame came back and took the lead. Had a lead against Jacksonville State. They took the lead. We let Wake Forest jump out to a big lead. Let Louisville jump out to a big lead. This is the first time this season that Florida State met the challenge of the adversity and rose to the occasion. I'm proud of what this team did. I'm proud of what Mark said. Mark is 100% correct. Jordan Travis is the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. Jordan Travis has solidified his place as the starting quarterback from this point on. I think you can make a good argument that Jordan Travis, if he starts the Jacksonville State game, starts the Louisville game, there's probably a win right there. in at least one of those two games right there, and you're a 3-3 team, and things are looking even rosier. But we can't go back to the past. Right now, Florida State, this is the Florida State team that you want to see heading into this second half of the season. Yes, the second half of the season is a lot tougher schedule-wise, but it also, there's a lot more winnable options now. And I'm going to say it right now. There is a chance. I'm not willing to make a prediction on it, but there is a chance this is a Florida State team that could, if they play this way the rest of the season, could fight to be bowl eligible.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of fans were thinking about that after the game. Jason wondering if Florida State now has any kind of chance of making it to a bowl. And I think there's some games now that with the effort that you saw in Florida State coming back and keeping that steady stream of offense going, I kind of got the feeling for me that the offense is starting to hit its cylinders. I think there's still some work to be done, most certainly, but the offensive line didn't allow one sack. I don't remember the last time we've been able to say that. I might not even been in college yet.
No, you weren't. No,
certainly. And that's a long time ago. That's a long time. I've been in college for a good while.
We got to talk to you about that.
Yeah, to note that. But no sacks allowed, and it just seems like Florida State's offense was clicking. It felt like near the fourth quarter, that felt pretty promising that Florida State was going to at least make it down the field and score. I mean, they were just taking care of it. I think it was the most beautifully called game by Dillingham and Mike Norvell. I mean, they were just taking stabs everywhere they could. They made a lot of confusion for UNC's DBs and linebackers. I know the one play where they put Ontario Wilson out in motion, the guy covering him there on the outside to the left had no idea what to do with them. It was just all sporadic, and he was trying to talk and communicate with his guys, and ended up being a wide open Ontario Wilson there. So for a touchdown, and that's just called beautiful play calling. Jordan Travis, like you said, Jason, he is most certainly the solidified starter. And you just got to wonder how, it seems like he's at the healthiest he's ever been, going to some practice observations this week. Yeah, he's not in a boot, he's not in a brace, nothing. That's the first time, at least in a while, that during practices we haven't seen him in that. And we got to see that the last few weeks, that he is in a really good rhythm right now. And he has that explosiveness that we saw last year. And he was I felt not so 100% to start the season. And we got to see the effects of that. Some of maybe there's a play calling. It just seems like now the staff has put together a game scheme for Jordan Travis, and we can see how lethal it can be with him, because he is practically also another running back, and just put him in space and he'll do magic. But you can't. We can talk about Jordan Travis, but also Treshaun Ward and Corbin. Mainly Treshaun Ward. He ended that game off. He made a mistake by going off to the sideline, and Dillingham said that he said a lot of things that he couldn't say publicly in the headset. But then the next play, they said, you know what, we trust this guy, and they gave him the ball again, and boom, he makes a beautiful backspin, makes him move, is physical, and gets the first down and ends the game. And that just goes to show that they trust him. And that, if we think about it, last year he was just a walk-on. So he's got a bright future, but the offense won the game most certainly. And the defense, DBs too. DBs played their best game in years, in my opinion. They played well, and a lot of plays. Sidney Williams, beautiful play, deep ball. Sam Howell's going for 6. Sidney Williams makes a perfect play at the perfect time to deflect it. Jerry Jones gets the interception there, and Brownlee locked down the whole entire game. Didn't get to really talk about him that much. That's a good thing. We don't talk about Jalen Ramsey that much on Sundays because he's on lockdown mode and he's doing his thing. If they're talking about you a lot, that means the wide receiver is getting touchdowns on you. So overall, it's rare I can talk about 5 minutes of good things for once.
Along those lines, well, here's more time for you to talk about more good things. Last week you weren't with us. You didn't show up on time. You were a failure to me and MarkRogersTV.
Hey, well, it can't happen now. I don't have an excuse anymore.
You don't have an excuse this week. But last week we talked a little bit about Florida State winning the game with Jordan Travis, for lack of a better term, playing small ball. A lot of dink and dunk passes, little short passes, little screens out of the backfield and whatnot. Florida State showed they were not afraid to throw the ball deep. The long touchdown pass to Ontario Wilson. They let Jordan Travis throw the ball more. Is this what we are going to see? And not so much the UMass game, but as Florida State gets into the meat of the schedule, those last 5 games, the Clemson, the NC State, the Miami, do you think Florida State, Kenny Dillingham, Mike Norvell are going to keep the offense more that wide open? Or do you think as the games get a little bit tougher, it will go back to a more tighter, more, for lack of a better term, conservative offense?
I don't know. I mean, that was a good opponent there. I mean, North Carolina's defensive line is no joke. I mean, they recruit some cats there and they put on pressure, but I mean, the offensive line showed up. You know, you had Devontae Love Taylor go out, and then you moved in Bavion Johnson, and you expect him to play well. That is a fifth-year guy. I mean, he should be able to play well, and he did. That offensive line actually moved a little bit smoother. Something worth noting. You know, Devontae Love Taylor, I think, has been hindering, you know, something for a while. So that, you know, him being out there is just either holding on by a thread. But now to have the bye week for him, I think this offense overall, they're going to keep spreading things out. I don't think it stops there. Like I said, I think it can only, there's so much more they can do. And I think Dillingham talked about in the press conference this week that Jordan Travis, you know, he liked the way he played, but he could have played so much better. There was so many more things he could have done. He played as the best quarterback in the country this past weekend. And so, you know, overall, this offense has a lot more things to work on, but I don't think, you know, that was good competition. I don't think, you know, I mean, you'll have Clemson. And right now, Miami, I don't know what's happening down there, Jason, but it just seems
collapse,
like
chaos.
it's just like teetering there. It's just teetering. It's like when the Titanic's just about to sink, and then it just splits open, and then it just comes crashing down. It feels like that's what's going down in Coral Gables. It's not even Coral Gables, is it? Where is it at?
It is Coral Gables. That's where the University of Miami is. By the way, shout out to
but
Luke
not
Walker.
the stadium. Not the stadium.
No, the stadium's in Miami Gardens. But shout out to Luke Walker. You're a real man. You show up. You've given us hell, but you show up last year. We appreciate it, Luke Walker.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up. I think the thing, and I'll play the negative Nancy role for a second. This is a team right now. If this is the team that played against Jacksonville State, against Notre Dame, against Louisville, this is a 5-1 team going into the second half of the season. That to me, as the FSU alum, as an FSU fan, that's the frustrating part. We're finally getting to see the Florida State team that we knew they were capable of. North Carolina, yes, North Carolina is not as good as they were advertised at the start of the season. Let's just be honest about it. And yes, Corey Hall, you are 100% correct. We are still 2-4. No one's buying bowl tickets just right now. But it's frustrating that this is the team. Mike, you're drunk. Anyway.
Yeah.
This is the team right now that we thought, and you're still just 2-4. That's the frustrating part, is what took 4 games? What took losing to Jacksonville State, the worst loss in program history? Losing to a Louisville team that, quite frankly, I don't think you had any business losing to. Losing to a Notre Dame team that Notre Dame, we're starting to see how Notre Dame really is, and you were beating. That's the frustrating part right now, I think, if you're a Florida State fan. If you're Seminole Nation, it's like, what could have been?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. What could have been? I think it's still a growing team. That's what the staff keeps on talking about. Their team is still growing. A lot of work to be done. But Norvell has mentioned numerous times since this past weekend, most certainly, that it feels like they've hit a switch. This is a whole new team. And that's something exciting to see. You know, they'll go through a bye week and they'll play UMass. And so you got to hope, you know, they show up for that game. But this bye week couldn't have came at any better time because this team is dinged up in a lot of areas. You know, Deshaun Corbin was dinged up in North Carolina game, Devontae Love Taylor, and a few others that are dealing with injuries, and some that are still participating in practice but just need rest overall. I think comes at a beautiful time for Florida State when it needs it the most to finish off on a big rest of the season ahead. This thing is just now starting to gear up even more. I mean, it starts off with the Walt Bell Bowl and Doak Campbell Stadium at noon. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Getting up crazy early. I love that it's early like that. Get it out of the way.
I do too.
I'm tired. I was getting a little tired of the 3:30s. That just takes away your whole day. I need a little noon action, a little Walt Bell versus Mike Norvell. It's going to be fun. And maybe a little Chubba Purdy, hopefully. And we keep on, I know the chat keeps on wanting to see Chubba Purdy. Maybe a little third quarter, fourth quarter situation if things are going well. It shouldn't even be a competition.
I just want to ask before we get into the meat of talking about the second half of the season, are you actually going to show up on time for this game? For those viewers at home, Logan decided to show up under 2 hours before kickoff. Now, that's not a responsible member of the media.
15 minutes. You can show up whenever.
A responsible member of the media would get there, make sure everything's done. You go through their scouting process, get everything done. But it's fine, Logan. You're new to the ship.
15 minutes. 15 minutes. I blame the elevator.
As you should. That is a
It's
slow.
9 floors, nine floors, and you stopping, going, stopping. All the presidents, box people,
That's true.
it's brutal.
That's true. Did you get your Chick-fil-A?
I did. I gotta get back. I got sick, and I gotta get in the gym, or we're
That's
not.
fine. I think there'll be breakfast for you, Mass. So save me a plate.
You'll be up there.
I will be up
before
there.
me.
I will be.
Yeah.
Ooh, breakfast.
Yeah.
Game day at FSU in the media box in the press box.
It's homecoming.
Very
Our
nice.
homecoming. We're actually going to win a homecoming game. Now,
This team's going to be over 500. They're going to have a winning record.
for the month of October,
Ooh.
They're going to have
we're 3 and
for the
we're
month
2
of
and 4.
October.
We're
Yes,
2 and 4.
I was looking at then hoping winning ACC record after that.
I like your hopes and ambitions right there, though, Mark. We do appreciate your support. Thank you, Khalil Jan.
Yes, thank you so much, Khalil. Let's catch up with this super chat in line with what Logan was talking about. Best game by the secondary since 2017 Florida game when Levante Taylor had 2 picks, 1 a pick 6. That just reminded me that he was changed to strong safety after having back procedure.
Wow. Yeah, no, those are good, fun facts.
Remember we used to beat Florida? That was fun.
Whoa, why are you talking like that?
Let's just be honest, and we'll talk about the schedule. But
As you said, the best
Game's
team
on the table. I think that game's
Whoa,
on the
listen to
table.
Mark. Listen to Mark. Let's see what Mark says. Yeah.
What did
That
Mark
game
say?
is on the table. Florida is not
We'll talk.
any kind of great football team.
In the second half hour, we'll talk about the second half of the season. It's going to be an interesting second half.
Let's get everything out that we need to on this game. Anything else of note here? I think the one thing that I will set you guys up with is that I think this team has a definite identity on offense. I can watch a Florida State game, and I know I have a better handle on what this team is with Jordan Travis at quarterback and what they should be doing on offense, where their strengths lie, and what kind of offense they're going to run. Better than I did 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, and that's the question that we're going to have. And I think you're going to see a little bit more in the UMass game what you saw against North Carolina. They're going to let Jordan Travis get the ball down the field, throw it down the field more, a little bit longer passes. After that, I wonder, and what I asked Logan about, do you go back to the same offense you ran against Syracuse, which is more the run first option, short passes, dink and dunk against a Clemson team that while Clemson's defense is good this year, the offense is, I would say, has taken a step back from the Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne era. But yes, Mark is 100% correct on that one. This is a Florida State team that is going to run the ball. They controlled the clock. But I think, and Logan, I want to touch on this with you for a little bit. I think we've talked a lot about the offense. Let's talk about the way that defense played. After that 10-0, the 10-0 lead, giving up the 10-0 lead to North Carolina to start the game, that defense stepped up. And I would argue, take the first quarter out of the equation. I would argue the second, third, fourth quarter was the best 3 quarters of football that defense has played all season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they kept, the DBs did their job, and that's how Sam Howell just had to run. That was the only offense that North Carolina had. They shut them out in the second quarter, and that allows the offense to do its thing, and it kind of works in both favors. I mean, the offense staying on the field and sustaining drives is something that allows the defense to be there on the sideline, talk with their coaches, hear from up top in the box, be able to see some film, what's going on, understand the scheme that Sam Howell and Mac Brown, North Carolina, are running. That gives them more rest to be able to do their thing on defense, and it goes to show it works out very well. They're able to get off the field pretty quickly and have a lot of 3-and-outs. I mean, also Florida State's, knock on wood, this continues, but Florida State's penalties, good streak right now is really well. I mean, Notre Dame had 12 penalties on Saturday compared to Florida State's 5. 110 yards North Carolina lost compared to Florida State's only 50 that's something that's becoming a streak that, Florida State wants to continue to work on and get better at too, because it could be most certainly even better. But, they just kept Sam Howell. I mean, they kept them constrained, exactly what you want to do to a guy that's, is a threat at throwing the football. And, they did that in the biggest times, North Carolina was able to get down the field and have a drive is whenever Sam Howell had to get out of the pocket and run. And, that's what you have to work with for the game. Then you're going to be fine with that. Florida State's defensive backfield did great. Sidney Williams made that play. Jarian Jones and Brownlee, kept on his guy. And, if you're looking at Josh Downs, still at a pretty decent game, most certainly, but still, we've seen worse when Florida State's had to face a few other guys that we don't want to talk about what happened in Louisville a little while back, but Florida State's defense came to play, and that defensive line is, Malcolm Ray came in and played, who we haven't seen a lot of play from him in his career at Florida State, and came in and he's looked solid. And he actually talked to the media today, and Mike Norvell laughed, "Hey, now you get to finally talk to Malcolm. He had a great week." And so here he is. And there's a lot to like. And you after you lose Dennis Briggs too, Malcolm Ray comes in and steps up. And it was funny because Fabian Lovett talked to Odell Higgins and said, I want Malcolm Ray to start this game. And that's just going to show the love that they have for each other, the respect, and also the trust, because I don't think Lovett wants to give away much playing time, but, he believes in Malcolm, and he knows that he can step up when need be, and sure enough, he did. So, and then Jermaine Johnson is Jermaine Johnson. There's no reason to even say anything more about him leading the Power 5 in sacks.
No, he's the defensive MVP. Like, there's no question right now. If there was an award for midseason defensive MVP, it's Jermaine Johnson, without a shadow of doubt. I'm going to do something here that I know Logan's been waiting for.
Oh.
I think Mark has been waiting for. I'm going to pay a compliment to Mike Norvell.
Whoa. Someone.
No.
You liked his shirt on the sideline on Saturday?
It was a good
Is that it?
shirt. It was 100%.
Okay.
It was nice. It was a nice cotton blend, nice Nike dry fit.
Put him on the full screen, Mark, for this. I think we need to say.
Yeah.
Oh, going full screen? We're going full screen.
I agree.
Okay, let's go. We're going full screen. Let's go back up a little bit. Mike Norvell and Kenny Dillingham put together the right game plan for this. Kenny Dillingham and Mike Norvell finally built the right offensive game plan to come out and get the job done against a better opponent. North Carolina was a better opponent entering this game. Did we have better athletes? Yes. Were they a better opponent? Yes. Kenny Dillingham and Mike Norvell finally accomplished something in 15 games in Tallahassee, and that's coming together with a solid offense. I'm even going to take this a step further. Adam Fuller, our defensive coordinator, I've called for you to be fired. I still stand by my statement that you are on the hot seat. But if this defense plays as well as they did against North Carolina, and once again, I know we're all high and mighty right now. I think the chances are extremely slim we're going to win our next 6 games. But if we play, this is not a hotter than hot take. Calm down. If the defense plays as well against NC State, against Miami, against Boston College, those are the games right there that Florida State could end up being a 6-16. Florida State could end up being bowl eligible. But the question is going to be, what's next? We talked a little bit about after the Syracuse game, how would they play off that? And they played a lot better. So now you've got UMass coming up. Arguably, UMass is arguably one of the worst teams in college football, in the FBS at least. Let's just be honest about it. But then you've got that 5-game stretch. So the question's going to be right now, let's say best case scenario, you go in 3-4 against Clemson. Where do we go from there? Where do we go against Clemson, against NC State, against Miami, against... It's not a hot... Oh, God, you guys are killing me here. That's going to be our question right now. But let's give credit where credit is due. Kenny Dillingham, Mike Norvell, Adam Fuller, you did a very good job in this game.
Look at that.
Hot take.
Great stuff.
It's not a hot take. It was a compliment. Ridiculously scorching, sure. It was burning. It was on fire. It was like the Hindenburg, if you will.
I had to go with it.
I liked it. I'll allow it.
That's your term. So
I liked it. Yeah, no, I mean, people are saying in the chat about Adam Fuller, Florida State's offensive coordinator, and if he's played or not played, but if he's coached a little bit better in the last few weeks, and I agree, there's definitely been some upside for Florida State. Still, a lot of things to be worked on, but it seems like the secondary is starting to do its thing. You had 5 pass breakups compared to North Carolina's only 1. And after that, Florida State was the only team on the field to get a sack, only team on the field to get a QB hurry with 2. The only takeaway with the interception there of Jerry Jones. So there's definitely some upside on that defense. It's only gonna get better. I think this team, like the staff has been saying, it is gonna take growth. It's not gonna be overnight, but this is just the first half, and you got to wonder now. This team hasn't been in a situation where you got this fans kind of starting to believe a little bit. Players getting accolades, articles being written about them. They're getting all these kind of nominations for these things. How does this team mentally, this is still a young team, how does this mentally block all that and keep moving on? And I think they've got the right coach, and it's not even just Norvell. There's a lot of the coaching staff is extremely dialed in, and they're all under the same they're all under the same tone. I mean, the energy at these practices, there is no rest. They don't allow walking. Everybody has to have their helmet on. They only get 1 water break, and after that, it's just it's like speed ahead for 2 hours. And that's something that not just only Coach Norvell is bringing, but, I mean, the energy Odell Hagens is bringing, I think he loves it. I think he loves being coached. He loves being coached under Mike Norvell. He's said it a few times, but I feel that from a lot of coaches, and like Coach Woodson talking to the media today, talking about Mike Norvell and how this is a family, and the way that he's coaching is something that's really addicting to be a part of. And, you got to hope that will translate over to these players and keep building that discipline and maturity.
It is also a lot better when you win 2 straight games. The sun shines a little bit further. The air tastes a little bit sweeter, and Logan actually shows up.
That's right. When the winning, I don't even think I got. Yeah, maybe I did be able to.
And because I don't know if we should give Logan this time. I don't know if he's earned it, but I did not do my job last week. You had one job to show up, and you didn't do it. I had one job to take your 30-minute mark, plug, push, like button. I couldn't do it, so I am defaulting to you.
Oh my gosh, you couldn't even do that. Oh my god,
you didn't show up.
What are we doing here on the Mark Rogers show?
Yeah, it was pretty sad to watch.
It's chaos and earthquakes, I will tell you.
But this is a time to enjoy yourselves. Look, and the viewers are coming out. We're at 63. I think we get to 75 in no time. But we need to hit the like button. We got about triple the numbers of people watching, but only 20 likes. Hit the like button if you want Florida State to go 3-0 on this bye week, because bye weeks they can still get after you. You need a good bye week. You need healing. You need players staying out of trouble, doing their thing. Academics is huge. We want to make sure we're all getting our homework done. You want to get a 3-0 streak going, hit that like button. That's all I got to say. 28 likes, just like that. 8 likes in like 20 seconds, Jason. How about that?
And the coach is going to be recruiting. Obviously, they're going to be down our way. Big games going on this weekend in South Florida. I guarantee you FSU coaches will be down here.
Absolutely.
Doing recruiting. So it's all about getting class of 2022 that can hopefully beat Jacksonville State if we ever play them again.
Please also type in the chat if you've hit that like button. Just so we can know the names of who we want to like more for the rest of the week. We want to know the names. I just want to see. We want to hear the names. I know some people don't chat much, but if you do like it, and just tell us, please, so we can thank you.
Logan just told the viewers that your love can be bought. Just think about that, fans. Just think about that.
Or tapped. It's just a tap.
Yes,
so.
It's not exactly a purchase there.
It's a purchase.
Now, if you send us a super chat, so Khalil Young,
we love you.
You're there.
Yeah,
you were there.
The goat.
Since you weren't around last week, Logan, I got to get your quick take, because that Syracuse game was close.
Go full screen on him. I want to hear his Syracuse.
And if that didn't turn out the right way, what was the score when Dino Babers wanted to go for 2, right? when there was a point in the game, they tied it at or they would have tied it at 30 or taken the lead. He wanted to go for 2. Then they had a false start. They had to back up. It was late in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that there was a 10-point lead there. He looked good. Syracuse makes the comeback, and it's, you're looking at an 0-5, and then going to North Carolina, and then it could this could be a whole different outlook.
Yeah.
So that could turn out to be the game that saved Mike Norvell's rear end at Florida State.
And Logan says I'm the negative one here, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just pointing out, hey, I just tell it like it is. And the positive is it didn't turn out to be a loss. It was a win. And like I said before we even came live, that Syracuse is a better team and that was a tougher game. And we're seeing across the ACC that Syracuse is giving teams like Wake Forest and somebody else recently that I'm not thinking of difficult games. So they're not a bad football team.
No.
So it was. I'm just curious to get Logan's tape, because this could have really been a dire situation.
Yeah, no, that was a little scary. I had predicted Florida State to win this game. I had predicted them to win. I felt extremely confident about it because of one thing: the practices changed, hit a whole 180. Whenever it was, I think the first week we're there.
This is what we missed from Logan right here. Not to cut you off, Logan. He's got the attitude, the vibe. He's got the pulse of the practices.
Well, I'm sorry.
He knows.
I live 300 plus miles away. I apologize.
You need to drive. You need to drive up here every morning on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Don't get cocky just because you're finally credentialed. You've got
so anyway, so once I saw the practices, once we saw the practices, all I needed, and I was like, you know what? We've hit a switch. The energy's there. Norvell's bringing it. Guys are being coached hard, and that's what I love. And that was a whole change. I mean, it was still happening the week before, but the whole energy, it was a big time switch. Guys are making plays in the right areas, and I got to have maybe a hint at who was going to be starting at the quarterback spot. But I really felt confident about Florida State winning that game. But it was a little nerve wracking there in the fourth quarter. I can't lie about that. But the whole time I felt like Florida State was going to win it. It was going to create something. I'm not going to act like I'm a wizard or something, but it is obviously kind of, I didn't predict Florida State also to win the UNC game, but I felt dumb by not picking them for some reason. I felt like I was just saying it just to go with everybody, but I was like, dang, I don't know about this, man. That momentum swing, I think, is going to help Florida State a lot. I think they're going to be competitive against North Carolina, but I just don't think that Sam Howell, North Carolina, I think they're going to have a lot of revenge for what happened last year, but it didn't feel like North Carolina had any kind of, they weren't even thinking about last year at all. I think they're still intimidated by Florida State. And that's fine. I mean, that's how it should be. Mac Brown looks clueless there, and Sam Howell was running for his life, and how he did last year. It happened again. We knew it was going to happen again this upcoming weekend, but yeah, back to Syracuse. That was definitely a scary game, and that's the thing that Adam Fuller said. That quarterback liked the run. I mean, that's what he did. I mean, he doesn't usually like the run, but he ran, and that was about one of the few things that they were able to do. But that was tough. That was a close one, but it was a win, which was much needed, and it seems like it's helped this team.
But we talked about it a little bit before, Mark and I, when we actually showed up on time last week.
Oh.
About North Carolina was, you didn't know what North Carolina team was going to show up. Whether it was North Carolina team that on paper we talked about, Sam Howell on paper is one of the top 5 players in college football. North Carolina was also a team that at the end of this game had gotten smoke showed by Georgia Tech and gotten destroyed by Georgia Tech several weeks before. So that was my question coming into this game, was what North Carolina team was going to show up. And unfortunately, you saw a North Carolina team that, we make jokes about how Florida State owns Mac Brown. Mac Brown's not going to be his alma mater. There's got to come a serious point where you have to seriously question that. Would Mac Brown, is he ever going to get a win against Florida State? Our next game against them is what, 2027? I don't think he'll be the coach.
No.
I think this was his last chance. I think you were 100% correct, Logan.
Yeah.
Yep.
No age jokes here.
No age jokes.
Whoa, yeah, no.
Hey, Mac
and that wasn't an age shot thing. I just literally do think that he looks sometimes lost when facing Florida State, and I don't know what it is. I really just think it's a logo thing. I don't,
Mac Brown,
the players changed. It's been 10 games now, 11.
Mac Brown was at FSU at the same time as my parents. I will not defame people in that age bracket because that would defame out my parents. So.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to be doing that.
Shout out to mom and dad.
Jason, though, another win, a winning streak, though, means that Florida State does lose a player to the transfer portal.
Is that a requirement?
That seems like that's what happens.
What, you win 3 games, you lose a player?
Well, only 2 so far.
No, but I'm saying if you win 3.
No, well, you got. I mean,
Brian Robinson obviously transfers, but if we win another game, we lose
who would it be? You got to keep an eye out. That's what you get. You got to take a hit with every win you get.
If every win we lose a player, I'd almost would be willing to make that deal.
Yeah.
I almost would be willing to.
Oh God, no! You definitely would.
Yeah,
beating Miami, Clemson,
Oh, absolutely.
Florida,
Miami,
yeah.
Clemson, Florida, absolutely. If we can all 3, but you lose a player after each win, absolutely done. Fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
But on a realistic note, Florida State lost Brian Robinson this past weekend. Made it official on I think Monday that he was going to be transferring. Had putting his name into the transfer portal, but he's a guy that's been limited. Definitely this year and throughout his career at Florida State. He's had flashes in the spring, fall camp, everywhere. He's definitely an athletic guy, can make a play on the ball, but just, doesn't seem like things are working out for him. During practices, we don't get to see him play a lot. He's just been dealing with stuff on the sideline, and it's just health stuff. So best of luck to him. But this doesn't take a total hit on Florida State's wide receiver room. We haven't even talked about Florida State's wide receiver room on last Saturday because they came out of nowhere. We thought this whole time Florida State's running game was going to be the premier product for this game plan, and I think it most certainly was. But man, I mean, Jordan Travis is able to find these guys wide open. Ontario Wilson. I mean, beautiful ball from Jordan Travis to Ontario Wilson. I mean, talking about the wide receiver room, Keyshawn Helton making veteran plays right there on the sideline. Jordan Travis keeping that play going. That's this wide receiver room. I don't think is taking a hit. There's a lot of young talent still that we haven't seen a ton of. You still got Portier, who I think is by far extremely talented, and Malik McLean. He's here to stay. Malik McLean is going to have a great career at Florida State. He's a guy in practice that runs. I mean, he's just a guy that's going 110% in practices, and it goes to show that's going to work with you. That's going to work for you to get more playing time in games as a true freshman, along with his blocking has been great. And he's a guy that obviously is gifted, and you can't be any happier with how well this true freshman wide receiver has shown out, because Florida State has been looking for one of those for a while now, years upon years, and I think they've got one with number 11. And the future could be bright at that wide receiver room.
Looking ahead real quick, and we'll talk obviously a lot more about the UMass game next Wednesday, if you actually show up for that one, Logan. But if you do, I'm just saying, to be determined if you're going to show up or not 2 weeks ago.
Wait,
on
here?
On here, I'm just making
sure.
But we'll talk about a little bit. But what do you want to see? Obviously, we talked about the level of competition takes a step down from North Carolina to UMass. And that's not a slander against UMass. That's just a fact. What are you going to want to see out of that offense against UMass? What do you think the offense can do coming up against the Minutemen? What do you want to see Dillingham in that game plan? Do you want him to just jump out to a lead, then go conservative? What do you want to see out of the offense?
I think this needs to just have a full-on game plan and not try to play around and toy with different schemes and different ideas, because I felt like that's what Florida State was doing against Jacksonville State. Trying tricky things, trying to fool around, and felt like they didn't need to put their foot on the gas at any point of the game, and that's what ruined them, and that's what made them fall to Jacksonville State, which should have never happened. This is a real game. I mean, Walt Bell's going to come and do his thing, but the talent's not even close. This should be a game, even if you were just a coach for like an hour. This shouldn't even be a game. But Walt Bell's going to try to call his Super Bowl, because he's definitely, most certainly going to want to, and he knows the fan base. A lot of them aren't a big fan of him. I really know why Walt Bell gets so much hate. It's really just between he and Taggart that went at it, and I don't understand. Which side are you picking, for Florida State fans? Willie Taggart or Walt Bell? You got to pick one.
Wait, who we hate more?
Hey, why does everybody hate Walt Bell?
Because you went from an offense that was scoring points. You went from an offense that in 2017, in your last game against Southern Mississippi in the bowl game, scores 42 points, and then comes out first game under Walt Bell and scores 3. That's where the hatred started. And yes, I get that some of it needs to I wish we had an NBC plane. It would save a lot on gas costs that I'm going to spend.
Yeah,
in
what's up
weeks,
with that?
gas and tolls and everything else.
Yeah.
But that's I think where it came from. It was just that complete crash down to the bottom. I think that's where most of the hate came from, Walt Bell.
Probably so. But yeah, no, I just, you got to see definitely competitive. Don't stop. I mean, just don't feel relaxed. I think that's the biggest thing. Don't feel relaxed coming into this. Come into it like you are facing UNC again. It's like you are going to be preparing or going against Clemson. You know, that's how they need to be every weekend. That's how it has to be. This is Florida State. Every team coming in Tallahassee, most certainly coming in Tallahassee, they want to ruin the night. You know, they're going to be on a national stage, even though this is ACC Network and it's UMass. But you've got to have a better product than you put out there against Jacksonville State. And you know, with the signs that we're seeing at practice and, you know, the energy, I think they'll be fine, but just no relaxation heading into this game. You can't, you know, what happened against Jacksonville State was a total embarrassment on the national stage. It shouldn't even be close heading into the third quarter. You know, you should be able to, you know, the fans that just want to come for a little bit of the game, they should be able to leave at halftime and go to the bars and have a good time and go watch the rest of the games. That's how it used to be in Tallahassee, but
you can't do that, Logan. By the way, you cannot leave at halftime. You have a job to do.
I've learned that. I used to stay for the whole games. I always had to stay. I always had to come back. You know, be on here every Wednesday night and give analysis.
And sometimes Saturday after the Miami games.
That is right, at 1 a.m.
Classic. Well, it was 2 a.m. number one.
Would love to see one of those. Another one of those.
You might have to join. You might have to join Nate against the Miami one for the recap. Definitely, if Florida State wins, you have to join Nate for that because he also can't stand Miami. He predicted Florida State to win 80-3, I think, this year.
Again?
Yeah.
Why does Nate make that mistake?
I don't know. No one's been smart enough though to clip it and post it on Twitter or anything yet. So he's just going to keep on doing it. That's the thing. If you can say stupid stuff. But if, you know, no one's clipping it, then just keep on doing it.
Jason, can you jump on for the Miami game?
Well, I'll be at the Miami game. We'll be there.
Oh, you're going to be there.
We will be live for that game. So we're going to be live for a battle of 3-6 Miami versus 3-6 Florida State at this rate. But we will be there for that one. But I'm going to say something. Speaking of stupid, you said stupid in Miami, so I'm going to say something real quick. For all the Miami fans this week who have sat there and said, and I quote, well, we're going to beat North Carolina because Florida State was able to. Remember, this is a North Carolina team that beat you by 36 points last year and ran for what, about 1,000 yards? Somewhere, it almost felt like 1,000 yards on you. Your starting quarterback is out for the season. You're in trouble. Own it. Just own it. We owned our loss to Jacksonville State. We owned our 0-4 start. Own the failure you're about to reach. Because you're hitting a stretch of your schedule that's about to be brutal. Cam's going to be making excuses at 7 o'clock Wednesday with Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Listen, hear his excuses, hear his whining. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. It's going to be brutal. They've got it's going to be fun. It's going to be free entertainment down there.
You know, the last few Miami shows, we haven't even really talked about the season or the team. It's talking about Manny Diaz out the door and who's going to replace him.
But the problem with that, and I will say this, and I'm gonna get a little Miami talk and Florida State talk at the same time. The problem with firing a coach right away, and I say the same thing why I didn't think they should fire Mike Norvell unless Florida State just absolutely was a dumpster fire, a 2-10, 1-11 dumpster fire this season. What option comes in? Let's say Florida State finishes 4-8 this season. Do I think it's pathetic? Absolutely. Do I think Mike Norvell is not ready for this job? That may be my opinion. At this rate, who can Florida State get in? You're still paying a buyout for Willie Taggart. You would still be paying a buyout for Mike Norvell. This whole quick movement thing, who's Miami going to get? Miami doesn't have the money right now. This notion that Miami thinks they're going to get John Gruden all of a sudden, or that Mario Cristobal is going to leave all the Nike money from Oregon, or any other coach that you're going to get, you're stuck with Manny Diaz for a while. Just like Florida State is, I'm going to use the term, and Logan's going to hate me for saying it, Florida State is stuck with Mike Norvell for better or worse.
Hate it.
I know you hate it. It's fine, but we're stuck for at least another season. Now, is it looking better now? Absolutely, 110%. But this notion of colleges continuously hiring and firing so quick That's the problem. Unless you know you're going to get somebody better. I'm sorry, Mike Norvell, I'm not saying he is as bad as Willie Taggart was as the coach of Florida State, but he is not drastically better than Willie Taggart at this rate right now. Can he be better? Absolutely. 110% he can be better, but right now he's not. That's the biggest problem I have with firing coaches right away. That's why Miami should not fire Manny Diaz at this rate. Because right now, who's Miami going to get? You really think Miami has the money to go get John Gruden? Miami has the money to get Urban Meyer? I love this. Oh, Urban Meyer's going to leave Jacksonville to come to Miami. No, Urban Meyer's making a boatload of money in Jacksonville. He's going to make more money in Jacksonville in one season than Miami can pay him an entire contract. Let's calm down for a moment. There, I was on my soapbox for a moment. I feel better.
Brutal.
I don't know if he would take the Miami job. I don't know if a lot of guys that they want. That's what typically
Coach
happens
O.
when these jobs get open, is that the fan bases elevate their program to such a status that they think just any great coach wants to come coach for them.
When Oregon lost to Stanford, the same day Florida State beat Syracuse, when Oregon lost to Stanford, there was a Mario to Miami contingency who legitimately thought, oh, Mario Cristobal's going to come be the next coach. Oh, he's a former Cane. He wants to come to Miami. Miami doesn't have the money right now. Miami will not have money for probably, I would say, about another 8 to 10 years because they are still a school that is in deficit because of the money they spent to build up their medical school. And they're still paying that off till probably about 2028. That's the problem Miami has right now. They don't have the money to go out and get a big coach. They got Mark Richt because he took the hometown discount and he took the alma mater discount. They got Manny Diaz because he wanted to get the hell out of Temple. He realized, wait, I'm going to be the head coach at Temple? This school sucks. Oh, Miami's going to offer me a job? Sure, why not? Let me take it. You don't have the money. You don't think Phil Knight at Nike is going to write a blank check to Oregon and say, here you go, give Mario whatever he wants? Money talks. Money talks a lot more than loyalty.
Need the money. Need that money. Need it now.
Mark would do anything. Mark for the right amount of money, I guarantee you would sing Hail to the Victors. I think we could probably get him to do that. If you contribute $100, Mark Rogers
$100
will sing Hail to the Victors. If any of our viewers give Mark Rogers $100 right now, contribute $100.
I got people giving $100 for me doing nothing.
I'm just saying, if Mark Rogers, Mark,
I got a few people that cough up $100, and then all they say is take one more phone call. When I've said I'm done for the night, we're wrapping it up. They say
Mark,
take one more call.
If
I don't have to sing that rag of a song.
But if somebody gives you $100, I guarantee you will sing that rag of a song.
For $100? Are you kidding me?
Come on, man, you'll do it.
You must think I'm like starving for my next meal or something.
On, man.
Oh, damn.
I wouldn't do it for $1,000.
Damn.
$1,000? No, I'm doing that.
What number? What's your number? What number would you to sing the chorus to Hail to the Victors?
It might be 10,000.
If a viewer gives you,
I may not do it for 10,000.
Guys, somebody.
I'd have to consider it.
Somebody give Mark $10,000 right now. I swear to God, somebody gives him $10,000.
Plus, I'd have to pull up the words on line, and I'd have to try to figure out the tune.
You've heard it before.
I've heard it a few million times. Yes, I think I could.
You won't hear it this much when you beat them in November, but you'll be fine. Logan, we've talked about our defensive MVP quickly. We got a few more minutes here. We talked about our defensive MVP.
Yeah.
I think we're both in unison. It's Jermaine Johnson right now. Absolutely. Who's your offensive MVP first half of the season?
My offensive MVP, I think, is going to be. I'm going to go and give it to him. I think he's the most talented back. I'm going to go with Treshaun Ward. Treshaun Ward, I think, is offensive MVP to start off the season. I think I was really high on him coming into this season. He was a guy to keep an eye on, and he's done that. Not only is he is practically a starting running back for Florida State right now, but look back last year, he was a walk-on. Didn't see much snaps at all. This guy has came in, proven He has worked his tail off. There's things that he needed to work on in order to touch the field. We always knew he was talented and heard a lot of things during practices and him having flashes. And, a lot of people telling us, that's the best running back in the room, but he never sees the field. There's things that he needed to work on in the film room and get better at. And he's done that. And he's understood the system and gotten it down from Mike Norvell and Kenny Dillingham and David Johnson. He is by far, I think, to start out the season, the offensive MVP for Florida State. I mean, he is flashy. Some of the jukes that he makes aren't appreciated enough. I mean, the backspin to get that first down, absolutely disgusting. He is extremely, extremely talented, and for his size to be as physical as he can to fight for first downs, like a Jacquez Patrick did during his tenure at Florida State, and how small he is. Seeing him in person, right next to him, that isn't the biggest guy, but it seems like he is feels like a 225-pound back, but it's not even close to that. Jashawn Ward, I think, is offensive MVP in the first part of the middle of the season.
I'm going to give it to somebody we talked about a lot during the show, but somebody who I don't think gets a lot of the credit. And I think it's Jordan Travis. I think Jordan Travis is somebody who – Jordan Travis is the reason we beat Syracuse. Jordan Travis is the reason we beat North Carolina. When you look at both the way he's been able to be successful both with the running the ball and throwing the ball. We can look back at the past. I personally think if Jordan Travis starts against Louisville, we beat Louisville. I think if he starts against Jacksonville State, we beat Jacksonville State. But just judging so far this season, I think you have to look at the fact that he is single-handedly the reason we have 2 wins at this point in the season. I think his play, I think he's grown. I think the North Carolina game showed his growth in throwing the ball. I think he still has plenty to go. I'm not totally sold on him as a dual-threat quarterback at this point. But that being said, the growth I've seen from the Notre Dame game to the North Carolina game gives me a lot of hope for the rest of the season. And I'm going to say it, John. You asked the question right here, so I'm going to say it. I think barring an injury, I think if Jordan Travis stays healthy, I think he starts every game the rest of the season. I think they've clearly shown at this rate it's the Jordan Travis era in Tallahassee, and I think Mackenzie Milton is just going to be the second coming of Everett Golson. And that was a failure in 2015. I don't want to say Mackenzie Milton was a failure because he had a great game against Louisville. He had some great moments. But, yeah, I think Mackenzie Milton's time in Tallahassee, barring injury, is done.
Yeah, no, I think that's solidified and over with. I think now the focus is getting Chubba Purdy prepared to be QB2, in my opinion. It seems to be kind of the feeling just from in Tallahassee, and if Jordan Travis gets hurt, who do you go to? And I think it would be Chubba Purdy at this time right now. I mean, Mackenzie Milton's still there, but I think right now Mike Norvell is looking towards the future, and why not? I mean, you've got to with this season, and I think Mackenzie Milton did what he did, and the biggest thing though, he's not done yet. Even if he is off the field, he's made it huge time. He's huge for Florida State in that quarterback room, and watching film. Learning from a guy that knows how to win, that locker room as a whole coming in, his presence has definitely been felt, and hopefully that continues for him. And I don't think he has anytime soon he'll be off a football field. I think that, which I picture, which would be perfect for him in my opinion, is I think he is going to go into coaching. I think he's smart enough to do that. He's just like Jameis to me. I think Jameis is an extremely intelligent quarterback, and I think that he should go into coaching, and he's mentioned that a few times with ESPN, but why not start it here in Tallahassee with one of the best up and coming younger coaches that has been proven to put tons of GAs into good spots across the country and put a lot of assistants and give them some money. That is one of the best coaches right now to be around in Tallahassee, and why not learn from Mike Norvell, be there with Kenny Dillingham, and start off your career here in Tallahassee, because I know he wants to stay in Florida. If there's an opportunity that would arise, could you see Mackenzie Milton be an eventual staff member in Tallahassee for Florida State? We'll see.
He could come to FIU. They're probably going to fire their whole coaching staff after they go 1-11 this season. You never know. So,
they might be hiring you, Jason.
At this rate, I mean, I could probably do better than a lot of their coaches, but who knows?
Yeah.
There it is. Another Florida State Seminoles live in the books. Another winning edition. 2 straight.
Wow.
Let's go for 3 next week. UMass, you're going down.
And my Steelers.
What's the point spread going to be on that one?
Hey, who won on Monday, by the way? It was the Ravens, right? Ravens won.
Yeah, no, good game.
That was
Good
great.
game by the Ravens.
Oh.
My Steelers beat the, what was that, 4-1 Broncos?
Shout out to Lamar Jackson for helping me with my first fantasy win of the season. Appreciate that.
The mighty Minutemen come in at 1-5 at the moment, and they have a 3% chance of winning in Tallahassee, according to the Football Power Index. There it is.
After the Jacksonville State game, let's not get cocky. Let's just play the game.
I'm
like
just
I said,
reading.
There's no relaxation here. We full force ahead.
For Logan Robinson, Knoll Game Day, your show's coming up tonight, correct? Where can we find
Mark.
it?
Just right here on YouTube. Just right here with fellow Mark here, Knoll Game Day, and also Facebook and Twitter too. We'll be live streaming there if those are your favorite platforms to hang out on. We're just chilling. Nice bye week, but it doesn't stop. I feel like you got to be a little bit more creative during bye weeks to gain viewers. So we'll be rock and rolling. I got to recap UNC and talk about Brian Robinson a lot more.
And with this winning streak going and this team on a roll, people have to head on over to Patreon, right?
That's right. The Discord, the Big D. You got to get in there with the Big D.
There it is.
We're chilling in there. Jason, are you ever going to join us? It's such a beautiful place to be. It is. It is a good time. Definitely during bye week. It's the best time.
We made it 55 minutes. We made it 55 minutes.
Practice updates. You had live practice updates in there this morning. There's no other place. There's a few others, but you ain't getting it that quick like that. And we're giving you quotes. We're giving you scoop. Letting you know the practice schedule for this week. You know, if you want all the inside news, patreon.com/Knoll Game Day. That is the scoop. If you need any scoop, go give it a try. Go give it a try for a month. I suggest people just give it a try for a month. It's only $2.99.
There it is.
If I give you $10,000, will you not say that word the rest of the season?
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
See, money can buy anything.
I set that up just hoping.
I don't have to
knowing.
I don't have to sing my rival's fight song.
No, we're not. No.
I'll let some people know. Speaking of Patreon, while you're over there, Mark Rogers TV, I did some math for the fine viewers on Saturday night to let them know if somebody just bet $100 on all my picks against the spread, they'd be up over $2,000 at this point.
Damn. Uh-oh.
If somebody took all mine, they'd be losing.
You're making a little comeback.
Badly.
I was doing the numbers today.
Yeah.
Had a couple good weeks. You're making a comeback, Jason.
Thanks.
Looking good there. Got my eye on you. Looking
Appreciate
good.
Thank you.
All right. Jason Parker,
like
NBC 6. Hit that like button on your way out.
Yeah, hit it
Catch
now.
Logan's show at 9 o'clock, correct?
Yeah, 8:30. 8:30. But close.
Don't be late.
Close.
8:30.
Hit the like button.
And hit the like button. And we will see everybody back here Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Deuces.